Yo, I just came back from Baltimore. That's why I'm from, by the way. I don't think maybe I have said that, but I'm from Baltimore, born and raised. Um, and I'm not currently in Baltimore. I don't live in Baltimore. Um, and this time going back for Thanksgiving, seeing my family, like it just hit different, yo. Like, and I haven't seen my family like all together like that in a year. I saw my mother like a few months ago, but I haven't seen any family in like literally like a year, like last year for real. Um, and it was just so good to be back. It was just so good to be home and just see everybody and just talking and like genuinely just laughing. Like, 'cause I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I be, I be like living by myself. I be cracking myself all the time, like all day, every day for real. But like laughing wholeheartedly with your loved ones, that just, it's like, ain't nothing like it, yo. It just hit different. Um, and yeah, and also it was just very like nostalgic. Even like leading up to the trip, leading like literally for the past like month or two, I've been getting these like smells. I would like smell something and it'll instantly take me back. It's like I smell something and it like unlocks a memory. It reminds me of something from when I was like 4, or when I was like 7, or like 12, or like 15 that I like completely forgot about. And it's interesting because it will be like sometimes it will be like actual smells, but also it would just be like I wouldn't even actually smell anything. But I would somehow smell it. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's not like there's nothing around me that smells like that, but I just smell it randomly, like a little whiff. And it just take me back to my childhood for real. So, but for example, like I smelled my like this one smell, like there's not cigarette smoke, but like if somebody was smoking and they take their jacket off and their jacket smell like cigarette smoke, or like you in a car that somebody was smoking in earlier, it smell like that. It's like I smelt that smell, um, and it instantly brought me back to like my daycare. Like the neighbor, she used to watch me and my siblings growing up from when I was like, I don't know, probably since I was born for real. Um, but I especially remember when I was like around like 3 or 4 or 5. I used to sit in there and like, it'd be me and maybe a couple of other kids, and then we would like play, and then she would put on her soap operas. She used to watch the soap operas and Judge Judy, Maury sometimes. Um, like I literally just remember like being so like everything, the whole room seemed so big, and I was so small, and she had like these high chairs. We used to get up there sometimes to eat, um, like oatmeal and stuff. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like these I've been having these smells that just come to me and just unlock memories I completely forgot about or just haven't even thought about in a long time, you know. And it's a lot more. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But I've been having these smells for the past 2 months, and it'd be random. It would be random, you know. And but yeah, and yeah, it was real good. It was real good. And even when I was there, obviously, we talk about stuff, and they would bring up stuff that happened. And also, it's interesting because for me, I was the okay. I have younger siblings, but I was raised with, but they was like in another state. I was raised in Baltimore with my group of siblings, with 4 of my other siblings, and I was the youngest out of those. So a lot of stuff that happened, they remember, but I don't. And honestly, that's how it is. As you with anybody, as you get older, you like remember certain stuff, or people reveal certain things to you that you didn't know because you was young, you didn't understand. You feel me? So there's a lot of stuff like that was being revealed to me. Um, and yeah, man, it was great, man. And just definitely it like reaffirmed just my, 'cause obviously I love my family, but it just like reaffirmed I love my family, just like just geeking for real, just talking, whatever, just laughing, like down on the floor, just laughing, yo. Like I miss that, right now I live by myself, and I've been living by myself for I think since I graduated college, like 2022 for real. Um, well, I had a roommate, so 2023, since 2023. So the past 2 years I've been by myself. And I definitely I love it, honestly. Like this shit is amazing. Being by myself. I love being in my own space and just peaceful, you know. Um, but as much as I love being by myself, I also love being with my loved ones, family, friends, and just talking, just spending time together, just being present, just being here, you know, being with people in person, face to face, give them a hug or, you know, dapping everybody up, just chilling, like, or just wrestling, you was playing around. Like, being in person is better and way different than, being long distance or being on the phone or FaceTime. And that's cool too, but it's like ain't nothing like presence. I think it's what's that quote? It's like presence can be a present, you know. It can be, not, like sometimes people presence is freaking nightmare or some shit. But anyway, presence can be a present. And yeah, that's why I would say this trip was definitely a present for me, you know, like an early Christmas gift, which I don't even get Christmas gift, but um not since I've been an adult. But uh and I'm not going I'm gonna be here for Christmas too, so I'm not gonna be around nobody. But um and that's another thing I probably talk about this another time, but like living by myself, it's times where it's tough and it gets to me. It's like, man, I wish I could be with everybody, my sisters, my brother, my mom, whatever, da, da, da. It's times, it gets to me, but I'm used to it, honestly. I'm used and speaking of my mom, it was one moment, um, I gotta get the video. I think my sister recorded, but it's like my mother came, it's like, 'cause when I got there, she wasn't there. Cause she lived out of state too, somewhere else. Excuse me. I think I'm getting a little sick. I don't know. Um, and yeah, so I was there a couple of days. Then she came. So I was there for a couple of days, spent time with my sisters and my nieces and nephew. That was there. I got more nieces and nephews, but I got hella nieces and nephews. I ain't gonna hold you. Anyway, um, not like a lot, but like yeah. Um, oh yeah. Anyway, then my mother came. Well, when she came in, I think I was like laying down or something, whatever. All I remember is that so I gave her a hug finally. Then like a little bit of time later, we was talking, and I went in the kitchen, whatever, and I came back, and she was just sitting on the couch. And I just sat next to her, just talking, da, da, da. And I just laid my head on her, yo. I just laid my head like in her lap. And like that shit that like mothers. That's another yo. That was another thing that like I smelled something and it reminded me of a memory. Some of my earliest memories is just laying on my mother, yo, and her just like, just rubbing my head, my neck, my scalp, and just feeling just at peace at home, and it feel good, you know what I mean? Like, rubbing your neck, man, ain't nothing like that. But that's literally some of my earliest memories, just laying on my mother's lap, just laying on my mother, she holding me, and she just rubbing my head, rubbing my neck for real, and I think that's how I used to fall asleep. I used to wake up to her doing that too. I remember that. I remember when she used to uh, like try to make the bed. Like, I gave her a hard time, but like basically she would try to make the bed. Like when she would change the sheets, whatever. Yeah, you know how you like, fluff up the sheet and it goes up in the air and it's like wavy. Da, da, da. I would always like run under it and try to get to the other side before the sheet landed or something like that. And I would just be cracking up. I'll be cracking up. Um, she was like, "What are you doing?" But playing around and stuff. And I kept doing it. Then they got to the point. It was like, "All right, I gotta make the bed." Like, okay, all right, my fault. But it's like it's just, yeah, this trip just hit different, yo. And also something else was interesting is I realized that it's like I've never lived in Baltimore as an adult. I'm born and raised there, um, and lived there my whole life up until I graduated high school, and then went to Boston for school for college. And so it's like I never, like I said, I never lived in Baltimore like as an adult. Um, I don't know what else this. I don't know. If there's like something to that, but I don't know. It's just interesting. It's interesting. It's like wow, like I never lived here as an adult. I never like had an apartment here. Really going out to the club. I going like, obviously, when I visit my my family, many of my sisters, hang out. Sometimes every now and then, sometimes we go out. But yeah, it was real interesting. Anyway, I wrote down some stuff so in case I forget. But yeah, I think I said everything, pretty much what I wanted to say. But yeah, I just want to give an update. Um, I think it's been like over a week since I posted, probably like 10 days, um, or 9 days, I think. Yeah, probably like 10. I forget. But yeah, that was a good, very necessary like reset for me. I'm like, it was almost like an itch I had no idea needed to be scratched. Well, I did know because I've been missing my family this whole past year since I seen them. But I didn't realize just how much I missed them, and you know, and it's like wow, like we really like grew up together. Like my siblings, specifically my sisters, my three older sisters, like yo, like we really grew up together, like like, and I don't know, I could just feel that bond, like just like you my sister, like I'm your brother, like you my mother, like we grew up in this shit together. We really grew up in Baltimore and struggled, you know, and it was always a struggle, you know, how to pay the bills and stuff. And the thing is, that's the thing. Like I was saying, like I was the youngest. I didn't know a lot of my childhood. I didn't know we was like poor and struggling and all that stuff my mother was going through, you know, to raise us because she was raising 5 kids by herself for real. That's tough. 5 kids by yourself, yo. That's and just I appreciate her even more because of that. And just yeah, it's been rough. Um, and even some other stuff that I found my journal recently as well from when I was like 7. It was before I could really write well. Like let me see. When I remember when I was like 7, I think it was something in like class we did. What was that? It must have been like second grade. 7 - 5. Yeah, probably like second grade. I remember it was like we had to write something. I forget what it was, but something like a journal. I remember like I don't know, getting inspired. Like, oh, I want to write my own journal. So I got home and told my sister like, hey, can you write this for me? I don't really know how to write that well, so I had her write it for me. But eventually, I did write my own stuff. But literally, I could see. Um, I got it here somewhere, one of my drawers. But basically, when I was 7, I was writing like a journal. I was like, it's like, hi, I am 7 years old. This, and that. I have this amount of siblings. I go to school every day. Like very basic and kind of like look like chicken scratch. My shit, honestly, my writing still kind of like chicken scratch. I ain't gonna hold you, but it is what it is. But one of the things I wrote was I saw a man get shot right in front of me or something like that. Da da da. And then I was like, oh, and then I also had this food later, or it was like I said it, I just moved on to something else. I was like, hold up. And I reread. I'm like, I saw somebody get shot. I'm like, yo, I did see somebody get shot. That's crazy. Like, and I had to like dig deep in my memory, like to remember, because we was driving. A lot of details still fuzzy, but we was driving and shit. And then there was something further down it, and then you just heard a loud boom, and somebody just dropped to the floor, like a man just dropped to the ground. I mean, it was outside. I think it was like a grassy area. Um, and I asked my siblings, like on this trip, I'm like, yo, do y'all remember somebody getting shot? It was like, yeah, that was crazy. Da, da, da. It was like, you remember that? I'm like, yeah, but no. It's like I feel like it was one of those things where like trauma, certain like traumatic things that happen, and like you can like block it out for you to cope with it. I think that's probably what happened with me, because it's like I really don't like. It's not clear. It's not clear. It took for me to see my own journal that I wrote in there from when I was 7. Oh, I saw a man get shot today, whatever, right in front of me. To be like, yo, huh? Because at first I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, wait, I did. I remember that. Like, but it's still fuzzy. You know what I mean? So anyway, it just real interesting trip. Real interesting trip. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say is, so you know how I was saying, like, I've been very nostalgic. Either I'll be have a certain smell and it'll instantly bring back a memory from when I was like 3, or just talking with my family and they bring up something like, yo, you remember that? Yeah, I remember that. Yo, that was crazy. Da, 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 da. That familiarity, you know, all that is familiar to me, is memories. I'm remembering it. I know it. Something else I was feeling was also, I think it's called jamais vu. I don't know, it's French. Like déjà vu is like when you, it's like, yo, has this happened before? Déjà vu is like, let me see. I think it means, because I actually know a little bit. I took French. I want to learn French. I want to get better at it. Déjà vu is like already seen. It means like already seen. Jamais vu, I think it's like 3. It's like déjà vu, rêve vu, and then jamais vu. I think rêve vu is like you dreamed it, but you seen it happen in real life. Jamais vu. This is what I had. Jamais vu. So jamais means never. So it means like never seen. Like you've never seen it. From my understanding of it, now I could be off with this information, but from what I remember, that's what it means. And that's what it means. And for me, I was definitely experiencing some jamais vu, because it's like it's stuff that it's like I should know, but it almost seems like unfamiliar, almost seems like foreign. Like you ever experience like when you say the same word a bunch of time. Like for me, it happens to me all the time. Where it's like I'll say a word a bunch of times, or just the word keeps coming up, or I'll just see a word and that I should know. I've seen it all my life, but for some reason it seems like unfamiliar. It seems like foreign. I keep saying the same words, but it's like I'm trying to think of a word, because it happened to me like a couple weeks ago. Happened to me um, during this trip in different ways, not just words, but it was something. It was a word. What was that word? I'm trying to look at something to think of something. Like um, I don't know, like microphone or something. Like microphone. Microphone, 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 phone, microphone, 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 microphone. It's almost like after a while, it's like microphone. Why is it called microphone? Or like, microphone. They really put these two words. It's like it's almost like unfamiliar. I don't know if you get what I mean, but yeah, I was experiencing that, but not just with words, but on a trip when I was there with just like stuff. Um, like I think we went to church. Um, I think it's a type of thing where maybe it's related to like not to like me going away. It's like I became an adult away from home, if that makes sense. It's like I grew up my whole life. The thing is, honestly, I had to grow up quick, especially when my family kind of got separated. Which that's a whole nother thing I'll probably get into another time. But yeah, during like my formative years, my family was like split up. You know, Father Ben wasn't there. Um, my mother moved away, and my siblings, um, and that was tough. It's a lot of stuff. Just that. It's a lot of stuff of that. Well, honestly, this video kind of getting long, so I'm not probably not gonna get into that in this one. Um, but that was something else I was unpacking. Childhood stuff. That's like wow, like that really happened, and that really affected me. It made me who I am. One thing I will say is I had to learn to be independent. You know, and you know, not really rely on nobody for stuff. And yeah, and I think that's why I appreciate big huge reason why I appreciate being in person, like family, and just be like really being there, not just on the phone, not just FaceTime. Which if you can't, it is what it is. That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do, and that's still staying in contact. But it's nothing like being in person. And for me, my family, like my core family, who I like grew up with, my mother and my three older sisters and my brother, my older brother. I have more siblings, more family, but that was my core, like growing up, to us all being together and close to then at the age of, I think it was 11, 12, just being split up. That was real tough for me. And that caused me to be, like I said, independent. I feel like I've always been mature and all that, you know, but it was just like, mm, that was a tough time. And a lot of, and that specifically has affected me to be why I am the way I am now, to where, yeah, at this point, I don't rely on nobody. I don't rely on nobody. Um, and not even my, like, let me see, it was something recently, like, let me see, recently, okay, so you know how like I quit my job recently, like in the past month. Um, like I ain't tell nobody because it wasn't for anybody to know. One because I just felt like my spirit would tell me like keep it on the hush hush, like don't tell nobody. But and also it's like I'm not looking. It's like I've already made a decision to do this. I'm not looking for advice from anybody. Um, and well, I talked. The only person I really told was like my coworker because she was real cool, and shout out to her. She cool as shit. And she could help me with like logistics and like how to like write a letter, write letter of resignation, like stuff like that. But as far as um like life advice, um yeah, I ain't talking to nobody, including my own family and my mother. And long story short, 'cause I know it's kind of getting long. What I'm trying to say is I ain't tell nobody. and I just made a decision. So I quit my job November. My last day of work was November 14th this year, 2025. I didn't tell anybody, including my own family. But the first family member I told was my mother, which was like a week before Thanksgiving. So that was like the 17th, I don't know, or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, um, and the only reason I told her is because she asked me. She was like, "Oh, so how you been? Oh, so how was work?" And I was like, "Actually, I was gonna wait to tell you once I got there for Thanksgiving, but I'm gonna tell you now. Like, I quit my job, ma. I just, I told her everything and all the reasons why and all that. Long story short, um, towards the end of the conversation, um, she said it was something like, like you don't have to um, be worried what people will think if you tell them something like this, like a big thing like that. You have no worry. 'Cause basically, I could, which I understand. Well, first, it's like, and I told her like, yeah, no, it's it's nothing. It's not that I was worrying what you think or whatever. It's just I truly just felt not to tell anybody and just give all my reasons why. Anyway. What I'm trying to say is, in my opinion, I feel like she felt that I feel like she felt some type of way that I didn't tell her I quit my job. And I understand, like, as a parent, you want your kids to tell you stuff like that. Stuff. I mean, I don't have any kids, but I'm just saying I think sympathize, not empathize. I don't have any kids, but it's like you want your kids to confide in you about stuff, you know, and especially with, maybe you don't gotta tell them everything, but it's like stuff like that. I probably feel some type of way too if my kid just quit their job and they tell me it's like dang, like they ain't even like it's not like an obligation. They don't have to, but it's like, you want to be like close with your kids and have them be able to trust you and be able to confide in you about anything, to tell you anything. Um, and I love my mother, and but it's just like I don't need any. How to put it? Okay, I'm ending on this because it's already at 20, about to be 28 minutes. Um, a result of that situation of when I was 11, 12, of us, my whole family being split up, and that being the case for the next couple of years, which were my formative years, the result of being split up from my family was that I became independent, extremely independent, probably hyper independent, so I don't need nobody, you know, and I know that that was probably tough for her, because like I said, I can kind of tell. It's like from that question earlier, or that comment that she said at the end, I mentioned earlier. I kind of tell, like, yeah, she probably feels some type of way a little bit. But it's like, it is what it is. I had to grow up, and I'm, like I said, I don't rely on nobody. But anyway, I just wanted to share that update. This was a great trip back home. It was great to see everybody, all my cousins and stuff. It was my sister's birthday. We got lit and shit, yo. Like, man. So, but yeah, um, yeah, and the heck is that sound? I don't know what that sound is, but anyway, that's all for now.